Let's turn to what's going on in California. Obviously, fires continue, and there continues obviously to be sort of recriminations and what could have been done to mitigate this. And there is a world in which you could have raised the budget of the LA Fire Department from, close to $900 million to, I don't know, $1.5 billion, I guess. And paid hundreds of millions of dollars for individuals to go and literally dig up every shrub on the mountainsides. You can't do controlled burns because of how dry everything was out there. Usually by this time of year, again, it has rained more. But there was a fire chief I saw, and I don't know if they were from LA County, who basically said what I think should be obvious to people. He said, when you have those fires, and you are getting 100-mile-per-hour gusts, there's just nothing you can do. When fires are jumping 5-lane highways, there's nothing you're going to do to stop that fire. And that's what we were looking out there. I don't care anything about Karen Bass. I don't care anything about Gavin Newsom. They can both go away or not go away. I don't care. But most of these arguments that we're talking about are ways to deflect from the reality that climate change is real. And what we've seen in LA is going to be indicative of what we see in other places. It may not be in the form of fire. It may be in the form of floods. It may be in the form of hurricanes that are more powerful. It may be in the form of extreme heat. It may be in the form of, droughts. We don't know. But we're going to see this in places where humans have been able to live for an extended period of time. In North Carolina, they did not anticipate those type of floods in the areas that they had them. And now they've had them.
Was it DEI in that instance, too? Like you're saying, this connective tissue is the climate crisis, and I would agree, sort of, but perhaps it's DEI in all of these different states, and we're not figuring it out yet, right? That's what the Republicans seem to be zeroing in on.
Well, the premise is that if they were all white men, they would have used their magic, and despite the fact that Pat Riley is white, they would have used their magic, and I'm not Pat Riley, I'm sorry, Gavin Newsom. They would have used their magic, and they sort of look alike. And
yeah.
They would
the same Armani cloth.
Exactly.
They're both a little sleazy looking.
Yeah. And they would have used their magic and they would have prevented the fires. In the meantime, we're watching the Republicans and, they have a problem because Tom Tillis, he's always on the edge of, potentially losing his seat.
Right.
And he's nervous in North Carolina because they just had those floods. Folks from Florida.
Cooper is running against him, and Cooper has a lot of popularity and name recognition.
Yep.
And it's 2026, which will be off year for they're off year elections and
party out of power.
Party. Yeah.
But in Florida, they're going to need more. They're going to need more aid in the future. Mm-hmm. I would even argue in Texas, maybe they're getting a little bit nervous. I mean, there are places around the country where people sort of climate change is not real, but you never know how these things go. But you still have Republicans out there who are saying we need to condition aid. And here's what they're trying to do. They know they don't want to pass the debt ceiling. They want the debt ceiling to be raised because they want to allow Trump to cut taxes on billionaires and millionaires. But they don't want their fingerprints on the raising of that debt because they've told their minions that they're not going to raise the debt, that that's some type of special secret sauce. So they want to convince the Democrats to be the ones who raise the debt ceiling. But the Democrats are like, we're not going to help you out with this. You own it. And so the plan is, well, let's condition the aid to California and combine it with that vote so that if they want California to get aid, that's the way it'll work. Mike Johnson, his most Christian perspective on this is, yes, we should condition the aid to these people, thousands of people who've lost their homes, their schools, their businesses, whatever it is.
Are you open to providing aid to California without any conditions at all?
I think that
got to have a serious conversation about that. Obviously, there's been water resource mismanagement, forest management mistakes, all sorts of problems. And it does come down to leadership, and it appears to us that state and local leaders were derelict in their duty in many respects. So that's something that has to be factored in. I think there should probably be conditions on that date. That's my personal view. We'll see what the consensus is. I haven't had a chance to socialize that with any of the members over the weekend because we've all been very busy, but it'll be part of the discussion for sure.
What about the deadline?
All right, so this is the game that they're playing, right? We're going to pretend like this could have never happened if there were better quality. Look, we saw this when Michigan Governor Snyder took over emergency powers in places like Flint, and then ended up poisoning thousands of children because it's all about local rule and states' rights until it's not. And let's just play this from Tommy Tuberville, too.
Yeah. I just want to mention that, Mike Johnson's from Louisiana and has a real connection to the oil and gas industry. So that's just something to note there.
Oh, wait, Louisiana.
What happened there?
What is that thing? Katrina. I wonder if they got any aid for Katrina.
I saw members of my extended family talk about how Biden didn't want to help Trumpers in Appalachia with floods 4 months ago, however long ago that was, that are basically applauding this sort of thing.
Go ahead.
Why should other states be bailing out California for choosing the wrong people to run their state?
We shouldn't be. They got 40 million people in that state, and they voting these imbeciles in office, and they continue to do it. And it's just a very small part of them in that state that's doing it. If you go to California, you run into a lot of Republicans, a lot of good people, and I hate it for them, but they are just overwhelmed by these inner city woke policies with the people that vote for them. And I don't mind sending them some money, but unless they show that they're going to change their ways and get back to building dams and storing water, doing the maintenance with the brush and the trees and everything that everybody else does in the country, and they refuse to do it, they don't deserve anything, to be honest with you, unless they show us they're going to make some changes, Chris.
All right, you know what? This is
inner cities. How subtle.
Yeah, this is an interesting theory. Maybe we should rank how states are doing as to whether they are deserving of federal funds.
Right?
Like, for instance, Alabama gets $2.17 for every $1 paid in federal taxes. So they get a bonus of an extra $1.17 for every dollar they pay in federal taxes. But Alabama's healthcare ranks as second worst in the nation. How much Medicaid and Medicare beneficiaries are getting down there? How much money they get
these
from
people in this
federal
leadership,
grants?
This anti-woke, anti-DEI leadership.
I mean, there could be too many white people running things down there, and maybe we have to scale back on some of this.
You know how they do it in the outer city?
Let's take a look at what is that? Alabama's education ranking, number 45. How many states do we have in this country?
50, Sam.
Holy cow! They're in the 90th worst percentile or something. Damn.
Wow.
$64 billion in 2023 in direct payments, contracts, grants, financial assistance.
Seems like a lot.
Damn, that's a lot of money we're sending to these anti-wokers. Wow. I think we should hold back on that. Should we take some ratings? Do we know how many hurricanes Florida has? Because Florida keeps seeming to have these hurricanes. We're sending billions of dollars down there for these hurricane reliefs. Maybe they should, these anti-wokers there should figure out where they're building their houses.
I know.
Are we to believe there's no place that's safe from hurricanes in Florida? What about Texas? What about that emergency power and water situation they had in Texas? Did the federal government, can somebody help me out here? Did the federal government take over energy and water services in Texas? Did we demand removal of the people who screwed that up? People died. People died because of the power grid failures there, water failures there. We need to take a look at this stuff. In fact, we need to take a look at this whole thing about what's the ROI on our tax dollars from New York going to the federal government.
Especially since like Tuberville as was he Alabama coach, right?
Auburn.
Auburn. Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, but that's a rivalry. But also, it's just like we wouldn't. The point is that Democrats don't engage in politics in that way.
Nope.
And that's the contrast that should be. Alabama deserves more investment. Alabama deserves a better education system and better health care. And that's not achieved by punishing Alabama with austerity. It's not achieved by punishing North Carolina they had a Democratic governor, but any other red state that experiences a natural disaster. But that's the game that the Republicans play. So this is what we're going to get for the next 4 years, or 2 at the very least.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.